Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my BitChute and YouTube simulcast together. This is Dr. Gaze101, and today's video is going about Critical Drinkers video 5 Reasons Marvel Phase 4 Sucked, and it still has continuously to suck even to this day. And I understand I'm late to the party on Marvel Cinematic Universe movie Telltales, we'll call it, the talking about it in a sense in a constant matter because for instance 2008 2007 give or take we had the phase one of Marvel Cinematic Universe and talks and this critical drinker character he's somewhere in Europe, mostly in Scotland, maybe in Ireland, one of the others, I'm not exactly sure. I've been following him for many months, if not a good couple of years now. Good stuff he's talked about with most of these movies that have been coming out for the last at least 5 years so far, especially after 2015. You know, when the start of all that Trumpism, you know, and the identity politics start to rise up in the factions of that there is, and it's to a point where at first, the first 5 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe phases, like phase one, two, and three, they were very good. I watched all of them legally and other by other means, you know. Because I tell you, like this, he said like as Krill Drinker saying that there's over 20 movies or so far being made over the last 10, 15 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I congratulate, the makers of Marvel, fucking other movie productions out there for maintaining those good movies at first. Overall, movies in general from the MCU are very good. I will admit that. Critical take maybe over critical on the matter at hand. Personally, myself, I'm not. I will admit that I haven't read a comic book in how many years now, because I heard that since the 2000s it went downhill, because after the 1990s I focused more on gaming, hence Halo 3 and Time Crisis, etc., etc. So the fear of missing out of Halo and fear of missing out of Time Crisis, because by now Time Crisis is like like a outdated history now. It's not, no one's not talking about that in the game. So they kind of got all the Time Crisis games, as you can see from my collections over the months that I share with you my monthly updates. And yeah, it's to the point where why is it that after all these years, why now phase four? Like I thought phase three would be over the last phase of the cinematic universe, but we were wrong, us fans of the MCU movies. And yeah, Critical Drinker, you're right. It's these movies overall, whether it's MCU or not, it's the movies are not as great as they used to be back in the 90s and earlier than that. Since the 2000s, it starts to be more mainstream, more like a commercial driven instead of quality driven, and it's more of quantity over quality. And yes, I mentioned that in the comments below. Over vast arrays of YouTubers and movies and video games, it's all about how much can we milk for little effort, how much we can sell for like $10, $15, $20 a ticket. Even matinees now start to become more expensive than ever. On a Tuesday at my local theater, back 2016, 15, give or take, on a Tuesday matinee, you could see a movie with one ticket for about $7, and you get the 1, 2, 3 go bars, whatever it's called, at a snack bar for about $7 to $8, and that's where it's worthy too. So you basically spend at most $15 that day at the theater. But now, if you're gonna bring your family on a Saturday night, crowded theaters, security has to be, protocols, because you got to go through security procedures, stuff like that. Because back in the early 2000s, you had to have security going in and out of the theater, especially after the shooting that happened at the Green Acres Cinemas. Not the Green Acres Cinemas, the Sunrise Cinemas. This is over Valley Street, New York. But that theater has been shut down since the last 7 years almost, at least. And I actually worked there for a few weeks. Wasn't so bad, just I couldn't keep up with the demand. I was that we have weight problems, like and age is a benefactor. It catches up to you, so you have to deal with like office work, things that matter. So that's what I did back then. Other than that, it's to the point where it's like I can't hate the makers of the MCU franchise. You want to call it like that? It's something that sticks with me. Spider-Man, No Way Home, and Captain America: First Soldier and stuff like that. It's a some of these movies of MCU are not that bad. They really ain't. I have no, I have very little complaints to the point of like, I'm not gonna bash it to death of how bad certain other movies are. And Critical Drinker, if you're watching this, like man, hats off to you. I've been watching you for years, at least a good couple of years now. You told the truth about how Star Wars Episode 7, 8, and 9, the trilogy, sequel trilogy pretty much, wasn't all that great like the other trilogies that came out back 10 to 40 years ago plus. And now we have the fact that they're trying to rehash with Disney Plus and stuff like that, trying to milk as much as possible of these franchises. Now it's like, what's the point of me buying Disney Plus right this second? And at one point, Netflix used to be the head honcho of streaming services. Like, you on Netflix, and it reduced the piracy, it reduced like all this crap with like, movie production and stuff like that, or at least try to make sure that people watch more and more of it. Now it's like, for the last year, almost 2 years now, the creation of Disney Plus and HBO Max and shit like that. Like, it's like, after a while, who has the money to go out after all these other streaming services with less quality, less quantity on each of these streaming services? Maybe Disney Plus and Netflix are like the highest quality, while Hulu, Amazon in the middle quality, and the lowest tier is like HBO Max, Paramount Plus. Because let's face it, what do you think of trying to buy Paramount Plus streaming services? You think of the Halo TV series, and I'm not gonna spend $6-7 or watch 7 days straight of Halo. Like, I mean, I watched so far 3 episodes of Halo TV show, and it's not all that great. It really isn't. It's like kind of weird. They try to unmask the chief and stuff like that. I've got the chance where I see all the weird stuff happening later on in that series. So other than that, back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? What to say about this matter? What can we say as average former comic book readers? Because I used to read comic books every week, every month at my local convenience store. And since like the 2010, 2011, give or take, they stopped putting comics into their or comic book areas of the convenience store since I've been living here in my area for how many decades so far. And it sucks now they don't have that feature or that feel anymore where you walk into a local convenience store and buy a comic book every week or every month, if not. And it's pretty good, back then. Had its time, now everything's on the internet. You go online, you shop around, you look for whatever comic book you want, whether it's pricey, whether it's cheap, or both. Depends upon what kind of comic book, what kind of superhero of that comic book. So yeah, it's the point where it's like, I mean, I'm not baffled necessarily. I'm not like shocked or feel like I have nothing to say, but it's just that like Critical Jenkins say like he's seen the bullshit side of this MCU universe, and he must have delved into this thing like a mofo for how many months, if not years. And I congratulate him for over the years for doing this stuff. So, all right, guys, I've been talking for 10 minutes now, so please thumbs up, subscribe, and share. Donate to my Patreon, Dr. Gates 101. If you cannot donate, share my videos. I know it's been at least a couple weeks I haven't made any videos, but I've been trying to finish up my schoolwork a little bit, as well as the fact that I'm trying to relax and prepare for the 2 weeks off from my school, because hard work pays off if you do your hard work first, then play harder with your playing. So that's what we'll be doing for the next 2 weeks after the 18th of December. That's the last day of school and the last day of submitting assignments. So I should have nothing else to really submit or whatever. So, all right, guys, I'll see you around and hope to see you in the next video sometime this weekend. Especially the podcast will start around on December 17th. That's tomorrow, pretty much, at around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check this out on the good old Let's Discuss Gaming podcast with the host Triple J, as well as me, Dr. Gaze 101. And I'll see you next video. See you around. Bye. All right.